To be here at Naidex. As a disabled person, this is like my FA Cup final, this is. The NEC is my Wembley. I've been getting fired up in the back there, been listening to Ness and Dormer. I'm absolutely pumped up now. But it's good, it's a really kind, I've never done anything like this before. Like I've never seen so many disabled people in my life. I mean, I went to the Paralympics. Coming in before the battle for the blue badge phase, it was like Helm's Deep when we were younger, you know. My dad was always very keen to make sure that everything was even. You know, it's always fair. At Christmas, we'd always get the same presents. All well and good, until the year when we got keyboards. It was like, I think a few of us are going to get more out of this than the others, Dad. It was alright, because it evened itself up a year later when we got orthopaedic shoes. So, you know, I went to, my mum was she wanted to wrap me up in cotton wool, and my dad was a little bit the other way, and he was like, no, we've got to send him out into the world. We can't have him, you know, being protected all his life. So I went to all able-bodied schools, and I was very lucky. I never got bullied at school, but I mean, luckily for me it's because there were loads of ginger kids in my year. I mean, the lunch money I had off them pounding away. I only got little hands, still worked. But I went to an able-bodied school, and I used to take part in all of the sports. And I remember the first day at secondary school, there was a swimming pool at my secondary school. It wasn't a private school; it was just a really posh secondary school. It was for boys, but I mean, you can't pick and choose these things at 11. But yeah, so first day at secondary school, there's a swimming pool, and I thought, I've hit jackpot here, this is amazing, like swimming on my first day at school. It's unbelievable, it was outdoors as well, it was lovely. Went into the swimming pool, just about to go in there, got my trunks on and everything. The game teacher says, Alex, we're just going to put you in this canoe. I was like, oh, canoeing? First day at school and it's canoeing, we really have hit jackpot here. I don't even know what I'm going to do with this, but this is amazing. So he sits me in this canoe, puts some armbands on, and I said, well, that's a little bit safe, but I suppose in a canoe you don't know what'll happen. I've never been in one, I'll trust you, mate. Sits the armbands on me, and I'm like, this is amazing. Right then. But how are they going to fit another 20 canoes in this swimming pool? At which point, I saw all the others doing lengths at the other end of the pool. And I was just left spinning in this canoe with he didn't even give me an oar. I couldn't even go anywhere. I was just spinning 360 in the wind in this canoe. I only stopped when my mate Tom said to Mum, why is Alex in the canoe? And the game teacher went, well, I mean, he can't swim, so I just wanted him to be included. And mate Tom went he can swim further than me. At which point this guy, I'll never forget him, come running up the side of the swimming pool. Rip these armbands off here, just chuck me into the deep end and go on, join the rest of them. But I always wanted to be a football journalist, just wanted to be paid to write football. I kind of realised by 12 that I wasn't going to be a professional footballer. I put that more down to my weight than my leg. I still thought with the leg I could still do a job, and I still think now, in Arsenal's midfield, I could do a job, because there's no one putting in our tackles, and if there's one thing I can do, it's put in a tackle. University for me was a big thing, because I moved away from Kent, I went to go somewhere away. I went to Liverpool, and it's just it's miles away from home, wanted to be independent, and I learned a lot of lessons at university, various things about how to behave in the world and stuff like that. The number one lesson which I took away from university with me, and for those of you who this applies, please take heed of this. There is no worse feeling than waking up in a strange place with company that you don't really remember and you have no idea where your leg is. I can tell you now, there are no quick exits when you can't locate all of your limbs. It taught me a lot about myself, about the fact that I could actually look after myself as well. Because I suppose there's a misconception that, Alex won't be able to cook and stuff like that. I mean, I can cook, but just badly, it's just one of those things. There's times when I use my disability to my advantage as well. Even now with my fiancée, she'll be like, what I'll do is this isn't a sexual story by the way, for those of you who are worried. I quickly jump into bed, get my leg off, and I'll go to her, can you get us some water? And she'll be like, why didn't you get it yourself? I'll be like, leg's off now, isn't it? I'm out of the game until the morning, as if I can't possibly put the leg on. And then, Press Association of Companies sent me to Paralympics GB Open Day. It was in 2010, it was a lead up to the Paralympics. Now doing these opening days, trying to get as many disabled people to try as many different sports as possible. I thought, this will be, I'm the obvious candidate in the office to have this little day out. And ironically enough, it wasn't in Birmingham, it was in some sports centre near Edgbaston. And I thought, yeah, I'm like, I'll put myself forward for this. And like, it'd be really good if you can try all these different sports. And in my head, I've got it in my head that I was an absolute shoo-in to be good at table tennis. Now, to look at me, there is nothing that would suggest that I would be good at table tennis. But in my head, I thought I was going to be like the next big thing. I thought, I'll do this for a little bit, get spotted, get a gold medal, and then that'll be done. Just playing table tennis, I'm not Forrest Gump, do you know what I mean? That's not the story I'm living here. And so I tried the table tennis, sucked, I was crap, I mean, who knew? And eventually then I went and I tried the shooting. I didn't want to do it. I couldn't be bothered with it. At the end, I was just like, oh, I don't want to do this. Like, it's the last sport of the day. And I tried it, and it turned out that actually I was half decent at it. And I was like, just sat there, like a spot. Just sat there going, bom, bom, just like 10 ring every single time. It's one of the best I've ever been at something straight away. It's that and FIFA are the two best things I've ever been at straight away. And like, you know, I got taken on, and we got put on this talent identification squad, and it was brilliant. And I didn't have the right mentality for shooting. In shooting, you've got to be quiet for about an hour and a half. And I mean, like, you know, and you've got to keep mentally, because basically the idea in the sport is perfection. To win a gold medal, you can't hit anything other than a 10. So I go like 10, 10, 10. I get excited to be looking around going, see this? The 10's all over the place here. And then to hit a 6 and be like, shit! Just lose the plot, absolutely lose the plot. And I just didn't have the right mentality for it. But the shooting completely changed my life. Because actually it was the first time I'd ever been around like other disabled people that much. I'd actually, apart from being when I used to go into hospital, I'd actually like, I was pretty, you know, I'd never really lived in what you'd call a disabled world. For me, I'd never been around other disabled people before, and it properly freaked me out. And I started feeling really conscious, and I'd go home and I'd be like, oh, like suddenly the leg gets a little bit heavier. Stuff like that, you know, it kind of weighed on my mind, and it really did, really affected me. And in the end, actually, it got so bad that I had to put myself into counselling. I quit shooting. I couldn't give it the time anyway, but I quit shooting, and I had to put myself into counselling because I couldn't. I had too many problems about myself, and I was thinking, this ain't on. I know, you know, I'd speak to my dad, and he'd be like, son, like, we thought you'd get this when you were 14, maybe 15, maybe when you lost your V plates and you were 18, possibly. But not now, you're 25. Like, you want to, you know, like, he couldn't understand, couldn't get his head around it, nearly couldn't remember. It was a really tough time. But I did 10 weeks of counselling, finished it off, went on holiday with my mates. And then when I came back to work, I was quite refreshed, but I still wanted to leave, and I had a bit of motivation about me. I thought, right, you know, I've confronted my demons, I'm quite happy about myself now. I need to do something more. And it was at that point when I saw the Channel 4 advert for the Paralympics, and they were looking for disabled presenters. And I saw the advert, and it's just like, are you disabled? And I was like, oh, one box ticked. Do you have an interest in sport? And I was like, oh, here we go, 2 boxes ticked. Do you have any sort of background in journalism? I was like, whoa, I've got the hat trick here. There can't be that many of us knocking about. And genuinely, I applied for it thinking, I've got half a I reckon there's probably 10 of us that have got all of these 3 things in the whole of Britain. So I've got like a 1 in 10 chance, and genuinely, in my head, that is how I thought of it when I applied for Channel 4. And you had to do a 3-minute audition video, and you could talk about anything you wanted. And like, I wrote like some little comedy sketch for mine in my head that I thought it was funny. But I was still really pessimistic about it. I thought, is this just a tokenism thing? There's not that many disabled people on the telly. Is this tokenism? Is it going to work? And it was kind of, you know, I was really like quite reluctant to do it. And it got to the stage where it was the final day that you could put in your YouTube video. And my mate had a little production company. He said, I'll film you. And I was like, to be honest with you, mate, I can't be bothered. Like, I'm going to go shopping. And he's like, come on, just do it for half hour. He's like, I've got an half-hour slot. And I was like, oh, go on then, I'll do it. And I was so reluctant. I feel like quite ashamed of it now when I look to what I've got out of it. But I was so reluctant to do it. And in the end, I did this audition video. And we got called in, and we did like a 5-day like boot camp. And it was like loads of screen tests and stuff like that. I remember the first day, we all sat there and you're eyeing up the competition. And like, there was this one guy who did a brilliant audition video. It's an amazing audition video. And I'd seen it and I was like, this guy's the one to be. And for some reason he started getting really upset in like the opening 5 minutes of it. And I was just like, yes. You keep crying, mate, you keep crying. I'm learning my script. It got to that stage. And you know, it was hard. You know, people look at The Channel 4 training scheme was amazing, but like under no illusions that it was tokenism. One of the producers, who ended up being the producer for The Last Leg, I'm just going to quickly check my phone a second, see how I'm doing. Oh, I'm halfway through, hang on. Yeah, he said he was looking for a reporter for this highlight show, and he was like, he didn't know what the name would be. And I can tell you now, I wish I still had the email that went round the office, which was suggestions for the name of the show, which eventually became The Last Leg, because some of the names that were like put forward are some of the most offensive things I've ever heard. I am desperate to find this email because it, oh my goodness. But eventually the show that became The Last Leg, and I got to meet Adam, and I had a little chat with him, and then we bonded because he was just like, so what's wrong with you, apart from... And I was like, I've got like this prosthetic leg, and he was like, so have I. And I was like, brilliant, I've got a mate with a leg, like, let's chat about this. And we were talking about it, and he's like, so where's, like, what's up with yours? And he's like, let's have a look. And I was like, I showed him. He's like, no, take it off. And I'm like, I don't normally take it off for a man on the first day, but I think I can make an exception. The last thing is that I'm very lucky. Is that I started my counselling. I did 10 weeks of it in 2010. Now, I almost think of it, every day that I spend talking to Adam about my leg for the last 18 months, that has carried it on for me. It's been the greatest thing that's ever happened to me, because you can't put into terms how good it is just to talk to someone about this stuff and have a mate, and then we get to do it on the telly, and then people laugh at it and they like it, and then we get to talk about some news as well, and we have this guest on. But for me, it's just like, it's been an amazing journey for people, with prosthetic legs, and say, watching me has made them feel better about themselves and stuff like that. And they might be just lying, but I'd like to think that, they might just be trying to be nice, but I'd like to think that that's made a difference. And arguably, like, I'll never do any better than that in my career. I can do 1,000 shows, I can do 500 series of Last Leg, and I'll never achieve more than that one thing. But there are other challenges which I've got coming up in my life now, and I don't think it ever ends. And I'm just kind of happy that, while I'm doing The Last Leg and shows like it, that I just kind of think, that hopefully it'll all work out really. But I don't proclaim to be there. I don't proclaim to think that it's all done for me. I've got many more challenges to come, and I just say, like, it's been an absolute honour to talk to you all tonight. I mean, even if it is next to the sandwich stall. That was by my request. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure, and thanks Saeed and for being so nice, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. It's a fantastic thing. This is the first time I've been here, and I just thank you all a lot for all your support for being here today. Thank you very much. Cheers.